The first person I'm speaking to is in Cuba. We're going to speak to him anonymously or condition of anonymity. He's a student. You're welcome to Citi FM, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sanda.
So the understanding is that Ghana gives scholarships to students and takes them to the Cuba for 7 years to study medicine. Is that what you're doing, or there's a different program you are doing?
Yes, it's exactly like that.
So 7 years, you learn Spanish, and then you also learn to become a doctor and come back to Ghana.
Yes.
About how many students on average do we send every year? Do you know? For instance, how many were in your badge or a range?
I can't give the exact number. This is because the sponsors currently, the number of students in Cuba are sponsored by two different companies or two different entities. The GMPC students and students sponsored by the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. So I can't give the exact number of students for each category.
But they are all reading medicine?
Yes.
Or are there other programs?
No, it's basically medicine.
Okay. And when you go, are you all put in the same university, or there are different universities across the country?
We are in different universities across the country. It's actually faculties. They're the same university, but different faculties.
I see. Now, what is the problem? And you are under the Scholarship Secretariat group, not the GMPC group.
Yes, I'm under Scholarship Secretariat group.
What is the problem?
And the problem at the moment is, for the past 7 months, we've not been paid. We've not been given our stipends. And the situation in Cuba is very worse now. Why am I saying this? In Cuba, it's a country whereby it's very difficult for you to even receive money from your parents if you didn't be able to help you out in such moments. So we depend solely on the green stipends. And for the past 7 months, students sponsored by Ghana Scholarship Secretariat have not received nothing. February, in addition, makes it 8 months. When our leaders get into contact with heads from the Secretariat, all they tell us is, or all they've been telling us is, they are working on it. Things are very tight, and they're working on it. We understand things are tight. We all bear witness to the happenings in Ghana at the moment. But 7 months, getting to 8 months without stipends, Mr. Sanda, is a hell for we the students.
So,
especially those in the third year who are currently doing rotation. It's very hell for us.
So your school fees is paid all right. It's a pocket money that you don't get?
Yes, our school fees have been paid. Everything is set. It's a pocket money.
How much do they give the students, each student? How much are you entitled to?
You're entitled to $250 per month.
$250 a month.
Yes.
We do know that the cost of living in Cuba is high. Tell us how you survive on the $250. And now that you don't have the $250, tell us how you're surviving.
You know, as a person, when you are given an amount, when you are promised or when you are given an amount to spend, either whether it's enough or not, you tend to adjust yourself. You tend to manage things for a set amount to be sufficient, though it's tight for you. Therefore, though the $250 is not much because of the economic situation in Cuba, but we managed to survive on that.
And now that also, you don't have it?
Now that we don't have it, though they are being fed at the Commodore, at the cafeteria, but it's not always that students on rotation are able to get to the school for, get to the corridor for food, or get to the cafeteria for food. So things are really tight for us. It's making us live in hell here in Cuba.
But if the school provides you food, then you do know that you have to get to school on time to get food. You don't really have an excuse then to be complaining about stipends not arriving.
I get you when you say that. But when the student is on rotation, there's no time there's no period as it breaks for the students. So if the school sets, let's say 12 p.m. for, let's say, lunch, and you are on rotation, if in the hospital, if there's a patient there, if there's a situation, you can't leave the situation and say I'm going for lunch. Giving a student is not done that way. You have to compromise or improvise and rather eat when there's free period. And there's no money to eat when there's such free period. And that's the crisis I'm basically talking about.
So how do you survive then in the state of this?
We tend to borrow money from other friends, other people. That's really where the people I know, few of the friends I know, do to survive. We tend to borrow money from other people. I mean, there are a lot of, we are many here from different countries. These are also friends who can help you out. We do it. That's basically our survival means at the moment.
You said that there are students from other countries. Do students from other countries face the challenges you are facing too?
I can't tell much for that because I've not made such inquiry.
Why don't you engage in some work? We are told that when people go abroad to study, they also engage in menial works just to keep them going. Why don't you do those things, even though you're on scholarship?
Such thing is not done in Cuba. As a student in Cuba, you are solely allowed to school. No student in Cuba from Ghana or anywhere else is given work permit in Cuba. No student.
So you can't even go and wash dishes in a restaurant, for instance, on the quiet?
You can't do anything. Yes, as a student. Your ID you hold is as a foreigner. It doesn't guarantee you to work. So no students in Cuba from any other country is allowed to work. Even a Cuban, no students are allowed to work.
So you can't even do it, on the illegal side of things?
Not at all. It's not done in Cuba. There's no way you can work in Cuba aside schooling. It's not as in other countries, like other European countries like UK, where the students are also given working permits for some hours in a week and all that, and receive little allowances from where they work. No, Cuba is not like that.
How about your colleagues? Do you know how they are surviving? You have explained how you survive. Do you know how other students are surviving? What about those who are not able to get any support from anybody?
I took off is not only for myself. It's for myself and few other friends I know of. You have to borrow money from someone. So the when the starting comes, you pay. And the moment the excitement is not coming, the moment you go to them, it becomes a little challenging. Because you borrow money, telling you're going to pay later, and it's been long, you've not paid, it becomes a little difficult for the person to lend you money.
In all your stay there, is this the first time you are encountering this challenge, or is it a regular thing that the government would default for a while?
I won't say it's a regular thing, but what I would say is this is the second time the starting has been this long.
When was the first time?
The first time was close to. The first one was I think, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. I'm not sure of the time. But it was also about the starting being late for about 7 months at that moment.
Do you have student leaders? Do you speak with the embassy? What happens?
Yeah, we get in touch with the embassy through our student leadership. And I would say they are working simply because from time to time they get a committee to us to elaborate on how far their actions have been. And at the end of their committee, all what they get is our funders is they are working to rectify the situation at hand.
Do you not have a liaison in Accra to speak to the secretariat for you?
I think the only means to get in touch with the secretariat in Accra is through our heads. They have direct contact with our sponsors.
Do they not have an official at the embassy who deals with you?
We have. We also work through the officials and the officials at the embassy, and they are working tremendously well. They get us in touch from time to time when they need me.
So for now, what's the plan for your side, the students?
Now the plan is we are still hopeful that the government or that our sponsors, that Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, get us some amount of money for some months, so that things can be free for us, so that living in Cuba will be free for us. We can focus on our studies.
Very well.
That's basically what we are hoping for.
So it's a hope now. You're living on hope.
Absolutely.
If it fails to come in the next month or two, what happens to you?
Maybe if there is a place behind here, that's where it will be.
Wish you all the best, and thank you. If the scholarship secretariat in Ghana officials are listening, what would you say to them? Speak to them directly so we can sign out.
So what I will tell them directly now is we are pleading with them. We know things are very hard in Ghana. We all hear the news of the happiness in Ghana. But we still plead with them to work and get us some amount of money, because the situation in Cuba is worse. I know they bear witness to that. We don't work. The only means we get money is on the stipends. Getting money from Ghana is even difficult, and you have to count from your parents. There's no other means than the stipend. So please, we are pleading with officials, our sponsors. We know they do care about us, and we are pleading with them to work well and please get us something for our survival, so that our studies here will go as smoothly as intended or as planned. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. So that's a Ghanaian student on scholarship in Cuba who says that their stipends have not been paid for 7 months, and they are having a difficulty surviving there, and they want the scholarship secretariat to move in and intervene. We've tried to reach the scholarship secretariat here for a response. We've not been successful. Meanwhile, so that's Cuba. In the UK, we are also receiving various complaints from students on scholarship. There's one message that says, and this is a message that was sent to the officials, and it says, I trust you. I'm not going to read the name of the person. It says, I trust you guys are having a wonderful day by the grace of God. Please, I'm one of your PhD students at the University of Kent Business School. I'm in my second year, and I have been due for data collection in Ghana since last September. All my data collection instruments are ready, and the ethical committee at the university has cleared me and granted the approval for me to proceed. However, due to financial difficulty, I have not been able to proceed from there. Getting money to buy air ticket has been a problem because, as you all know, we have not been paid our monthly stipend by the Secretariat for 11 months now. Unfortunately, because of my financial situation, the money I make after working for the 20 hours per week is what I use to pay my rent and all other bills. As I write this text, I owe 2 months' rent because there were some months I could not work due to, I think wants to say hectic school challenges. Another person says, we all understand that we are in difficulty at the moment. We are all in this together. However, some of these issues need urgent solution, which I suppose they have laid down measures. I would also like to say that periodical messaging or message updating students on the state of issues or checking in to show concern will go a long way to help students' mental health. So that's one other student complaint. I'm just reading for you messages on a student WhatsApp group, as in the group is called Ghanaian PhD Scholarship, Ghanaian PhD Scholars. So they are all lamenting, talking about challenges they have. Another one here says, at some point, my agency could not get me my assignment. Combining a PhD program and financial stress is definitely beyond prescription or description. Please, I wanted to inquire whether there is any help you can offer. What even makes the situation worse is that even if I'm able to borrow money from whoever to buy air ticket, I'll still need to get some more money to pay my rent here while in Ghana. The situation is very difficult. I know there are other colleague PhD candidates on this platform who have the same problem. Please, is there any help the Secretariat can offer with this peculiar challenge? Thank you. So these are students in the UK. Another one says that, okay, let me read this one. It says, Cuban students are in the news for the same unpaid scholarship issue. Don't forget to mention students in the UK. People have not been paid for 14 months now, making life a living hell. A PhD student colleague recently had a heart attack because her landlord is on her to pay her rent. Meanwhile, stipends have not been paid for the whole of last year. But even more precarious is the school fees for 2021-2022, which have not been paid, making some schools to block students from using university resources. PhD students cannot travel back home to collect data because there's no money to buy airfares. The situation is not only dire, but deplorable. So that's the situation with PhD students under the Scholarship Secretariat in the UK lamenting. Earlier, you had students who are medical students in the UK, also not UK, in Cuba, also complaining and lamenting. Well, we've tried to reach the Scholarship Secretariat. We've not been successful. When we do, we will tell you what they say or possibly put them on the air for them to respond to the queries and questions that have come through.